Hey everybody, my name is Jen and this is Jen Geigley Knits. It is the week of the 4th of July and behind the scenes I have been working on a batch of 20 knitting patterns. Like writing 20 knitting patterns. It's been like before this week, but mostly like I've been really buckling down and getting it done because they're due soon. And so that has really taken the majority of my free knitting time lately, and it's been really fun. It's very cool to see it all come together, and they're kind of all related. So it's like it all makes sense and it's all working out really well, and it's really fun to get this out into the world. And it'll be a long time from now probably, but that has been what I've been working on. I do have some other little things to share though, and things I've been dreaming up and little things I've kind of started here and there. So it's very scattered and all over the place, but that's what summertime is. And I just kind of feel like working on whatever inspires me at the moment. So I'm just kind of embracing it and going with the flow, even if it's like maybe not the most linear thing that I should be doing next. But my free time is my free time. I get to do what I want. So a little bit of sewing, a little bit of knitting coming up probably. So one of the last things you'd think I'd be working on in July is this giant Tinde sweater that I've been working on since last winter. But I have been taking this to play practice, and I don't have a lot more to show you since the last time I showed it, but I do have a little sleeve growing here slowly but surely. Our play practice has been meeting like three times a week, and the theater is always really air conditioned and cold, and it's like a Nordic feel. So I feel like it's like the Frozen vibe for Frozen. That's the play my son is in, and so we're to the part where they go see the little Nordic family, and they're all like hoo hoo, and it's so this feels like the thing to be working on there. Even though it does take up like a whole huge bag on its own, and it's kind of cumbersome to like be carrying around. I just want to get it done. And so I'm working on it here and there. It's not always at the top of my list, but it's in the works still. So there's that. And then I cast on a random sweater this week because I was inspired by this yarn. This is the Tones yarn from Brooklyn Tweed. And it reminds me of the shelter base. It might be the same. I don't know actually. It might be the same. It is worsted weight. It is American Columbia wool. Sourced, spun, and dyed in the USA. It's all, they're US yarn. So maybe, I don't know, but it feels to me like they're shelter yarn, a lot like that. And these go together in these little color sets. So this one is the undertone of goldfinch, and this one is the overtone of goldfinch. And for some reason, there was this sample sweater that they made in these two colors in a stripe that just kept popping up on my social media. And so it just influenced me, and I just was like, I want to make that. And so I cast on the sweater this week, and it's just barely getting started. I took this to play practice too on a day I didn't want to deal with the big sweater. So I have a tiny little start on that. And I have decided what I'm going to do with my whip sweater, the seed stitch sweater that I wasn't sure what to do with because the arms weren't turning out like I wanted. The sleeves were driving me nuts. I tried to seam this on and it's okay, but it's not great and it doesn't make me happy at all. And I think people mentioned this in the comments last time too, like if this doesn't make me happy, it's okay to let it go or frog it, but I'm not willing to totally give up on it yet. I think my best solution to this whole problem after thinking about it for a few nights is, so I showed you before, I have the sleeves done. In the pattern, they suggest just seaming them on, but I've decided I'm going to frog the sleeves, which kind of makes me sad because it's a lot of seam stitch. So I am going to frog the sleeves. This is definitely the right thing to do, I think, to save maybe this sweater. And then I'm going to pick up around the armholes and knit down. And I think that's going to be the smoothest transition because the sleeves have a nice normal edge that doesn't have a bind off because it was knit bottom up. So really, I think that's the cleanest starting point. I will pick up, and I think this is too long even, the armhole. I think I'm going to have to seam up a little bit, which will be under the arm so it won't be too visible, but that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna frog, and then I will take this up a little bit, but I'm gonna knit the sleeves first. Maybe I'll make them boxy on purpose, and maybe this will all work out in the end. And if it doesn't, and if I'm not feeling it, and if it, where I join, if it looks weird, I can let this thing go, because I honestly didn't remember that I had it in my old whips pile. So that's my plan with that. I'm gonna do that when I feel like it, because the Tones project is honestly inspiring me more. So, you know, like, it's okay to let something go if it's not like your favorite thing, but it still would be cool to get it done. It would be cool if it works out. So I'm not losing hope yet, but we'll see how that join looks when I start knitting the sleeve off of that. We'll see, not the join, but the picking up. You know what I'm saying? Before I forget to talk about it, I remember a few weeks ago I was talking about my Marimekko dress collection. I have t-shirts and dresses from like the Marimekko collabs with Target and Uniqlo, or whenever they had like one of their whatever collabs where they make something and it's a little bit more affordable. This is my all-time favorite Marimekko Uniqlo collab dress ever, and I never ever wear it. Look how fun the colors are. It's like a navy and this bright periwinkle and the orange. It's like an A-line, but I tend to not wear sleeveless, except it's July and it's really hot, so it kind of makes sense right now. So I'm just trying to embrace it and wear the sleeveless dresses. I don't know what my deal is. They're very comfortable, and I'll show you in a minute, but let me show you the dress first because it's just really cute. It has pockets. This print is so much fun, and it's, you know, just like a stiff cotton, very breezy and airy and nice A-line. Like, it has a really good shape to it. Very easy to throw on. It goes just to like below the knee. And the more I look at it, I have a few dresses in this exact cut from Uniqlo. And so I collect, this is like the particular one that I will look for. And sometimes when they have the release, it's one of those things where people will like jump on it and buy it at 5 in the morning or whenever it goes live. And for these, I will watch for it because I love these so much. So I am going to wear this more, and my other ones. I'm going to challenge myself to wear them because they're so cute and fun and I love it. And I was thinking about maybe, and I've never done this before, but maybe tracing this out with a 1/4 seam allowance. Remember all my IKEA fabric? Would it be totally nuts to try to make this simple A-line with or without pockets? I think I could do it, kind of basing it on Sonya Phillips' patterns from her sewing book. I sort of feel like I'm brave enough to try it, especially since these fabrics come with so much yardage. I don't want to waste it. I don't want to mess it up, but it is tempting to maybe give it a try since it's a very simple shape. I don't know. Well, I'm considering it. If not, I have other ideas too. Specifically, this fabric, I just love it so much. Like, it looks so different in different sides too. It's the big floral. I absolutely love it. And I really love it with the blue dots. And so this has been on my mind all week, and like every waking moment when I'm not busy, it's like when I'm laying in bed, I'm thinking about this and what I could do with it. So I have that tote bag pattern that I really want to make, and I do want to for sure combine these two to make a tote bag. And the tote bag comes in 2 sizes. There's a larger and a smaller, and so I'm trying to decide if I want a little project bag or like a shopper type tote, or like a library book, you know, which could also be a project knitting bag. So that I want to combine. I think this would be like main part of the bag. And then your contrast fabric would be straps and the bottom of the bag. And I know this is like crazy big print with crazy big print, but I still think it would work. I mean, we'd find out. If not, I have another idea for the bags that involves these pillowcases, which you see behind me. I have some here, I have some over there, I have one back there from the Tsamens collection from IKEA that I've talked about a million times, and you're probably so tired of it. But I decided to get more pillowcases because this is the specific fabric I'm obsessed with. And I think it would be fun to turn this into a tote bag. And this is so inexpensive. I think these are $4. And I think this would work with the tote bag pattern. So I think you cut strips for the straps, which I would do this color. And I think they're exactly the length you need. I think they need to be 40 inches. And when I seam ripped this last night, this is 40 inches, like on the dot. But I can't remember if it needs to be a little wider. I think it needs to be 5 inches. So it would eat up this really cool stripe unless I made the strap thinner. So I'm not totally sure. Or this could be part of the bottom of the bag where it would sit like that. But I do want that strap. I don't know. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to cut it. And that's kind of what's holding me up. But it's fun to take apart a pillowcase and look at it as a piece of fabric, because it really changes the whole idea of what it could be. And it's just a simple tote bag with a pocket and then a liner. It's just, but I thought if I have 2 of these, I have that option. And then I also have 2 more of these. These are the rectangular pillow cushions. And this would also be great as a bag. And I could definitely use the blue stripe because that's thick enough. It's thicker than the other one, I think. I'll have to measure again. I can use the blue or the purple, but I think the blue kind of works, unless I would turn it this way and the blue, actually, like that would make a nice bag. I don't know. I'm not totally sure what I'm doing, but I would love to make a pillowcase bag or a bag out of this. But I also definitely really, really, really want to make a big long dress out of this. I have to wear this one, kind of like this. Maybe I would trace this onto this, or maybe I will do the envelope dress again on this, or maybe I will do the Sonya Phillip top and elongate it, which I've done before, and maybe make a waist tie, maybe, in this. I'm obsessed with this. This is my favorite. It's so cool. So this is all very ambitious. Tomorrow's the 4th of July. But anytime I don't have to work, I'm like, I'm going to make 100 things. I'm going to sew everything. I'm going to spend every hour of the day, which I have kids. They need to eat lunch. Like, it's not happening. But sometime, or even maybe I'll stay up late. That's usually my best bet, is to be like a little bit of an insomniac and go downstairs, hide out, send everybody to bed, and then try to sew things or knit things. So we'll see. But I'm feeling the sewing lately because it's so hot. So anyway, that's my little intro for whatever this video turns out to be. If I accomplish some more things in the next couple of days, you'll be seeing that next. But first, let me deal with this sweater. Next, I've decided to make a dress. Hang out with Dinah and I while we cut the fabric. Okay, I have an update. I am going to make the Sonya Phillips dress from her book that I've made before. And it's because I found the freezer paper tracing that I did when I made my duvet cover dress from IKEA, the black and white version. So it's kind of like this shape. You cut it on the fold. I've made this one twice in different fabrics. And I think I'm gonna make it a little longer for this if there's room. I'm gonna try to cut 2 of these. Oh yeah, I think I have room for the length of this. But since I am a blonde, pale person, I want the neck of the front at least to be on a blue section because it works better with my face, not to have like the cream right next to my hair and my face. Just a weird personal preference. So the back can start on one of the tan sections, but I want the front to start on one of these. And I flipped the pattern this way so that the flowers go up and down with the vases. Originally, I was going to do it the other direction, but this is truer to the pattern. So I'm going with it. I'm cutting it out. I'm going to make it. I'm probably going to make it a belt tie as well. So I definitely have enough fabric. And then I'll have a lot left over still if I want to make a tote bag. So this is my new plan. I'm in the mood. I'm going for it. My kids just left on a bike ride, so I'm going to cut out a dress. Okay, so I cut out the front. I can tell this is gonna look so good already. I could just like, look at that. So I got the blue at the top like I wanted. I added a little extra length just in case. And then I'm gonna trace this for the back because I modified it a tiny, tiny bit. So I'm gonna cut out the back in a minute. But first I wanted to talk about where this pattern comes from. This is The Act of Sewing by my friend Sonya. She's amazing and has the best handmade wardrobe I've ever seen in my life. And this is full of patterns that are boxy, modern, minimalist, exactly what I need for big, bold prints like this. And then I also remembered kind of where this all came from. So I was thinking about the freezer paper pattern that I had saved from before, because once I looked in here, I remembered there is no dress pattern in here. So what I did last time is I modified her top pattern, and I remember I traced one of these Marimekko dresses for the A-line shape of the skirt. So that is where I got this shape. So that's like the origin story of this dress and the others that I've made before. But this book comes with patterns for a top, a skirt, trousers, and a shirt. So this was definitely based on the top, and then I traced it onto freezer paper and then modified with the longer skirt. I love drawing paper patterns onto, or tracing them onto freezer paper, because then I can keep the ones, especially if they come in a book, then I can keep these intact in case I ever want to make a different size someday. I don't want to cut these up. And so they stay nice and perfect, and then I can do whatever I want with the freezer paper. It's inexpensive. I can make multiples if this one rips, whatever, or I can just, you know, carefully reuse it like I am right now, and it's working great. So I'm gonna cut out the back, get going on this, and then I'm gonna make a belt. Did I already say that? I'm gonna make a belt because I have another piece of freezer paper that I saved when I made the Wixton dress for a belt, which sounds simple enough, and it is, but I love that exact belt because it's exactly long enough, and I don't like to guess on that. So I'm gonna use that little piece of freezer paper for that, get everything cut out, and maybe go serge some edges. Okay, it is starting to get dark, but look at how awesome this is going to be. I am so excited. It looks so cool already. I need to wrap this up because it is 8:45 and I thought it was like 6 p.m. But you know how sewing, like time doesn't exist when you're working on things like this. It just doesn't exist. So I could easily stay up half the night working on this, and I might do that, but we'll see. I'm going to take this downstairs and do the serging, and I need to cut out 2 pieces for the neck, a piece for the belt tie, and then I'm in good shape. Like, I'm just excited to have this cut out. I'm super motivated. I'm super inspired, and I'm super excited to go sew this together. This is so much fun. Look at this. I can tell also by holding these up that it's gonna be about the length of the dress I'm wearing, which makes sense because this is what I traced once upon a time onto the freezer paper. But it's, you know, not a super, super long dress, but definitely below the knee, which I love. And I'm just so excited. Look at this. It's so fun. Look at that. Okay. Last night, I don't know what came over me, but I was in a fabric cutting frenzy. I could not stop. I don't know what was up, but once I hit that wave, I want to ride it. And I think it was just having all my supplies out in the living room already, and like the kids were playing for a while and then they were in bed, and so I just kept going. And I had fabric all over the living room, fabric on the couch, fabric on this table, fabric all over the floor, scraps, and then trying to use the scraps to cut out other things, and it just became like a whole thing, but I felt so productive. And I stayed up till midnight cutting out fabric, and I'm not even sure, maybe even it might have been 1 o'clock before I stopped. And so I'm just hoping that I was coherent enough to cut the right dimensions. I mean, I think I was in the zone enough that I was measuring really accurately, and I was really trying to slow down and double check everything, but I cut a lot of pieces. So this is enough to make 2 different tote bags. Like I mentioned before, from my friend Natalie Ebaugh's Patreon, she has like a 2 tote bag pattern set, and one is big and one is smaller, and I thought they'd be the perfect knitting bags. So I did cut up that one pillowcase and made pockets. These are straps, I think. Yeah, straps, the side panels, the bottom, and then the lining is going to be the blue dots. I think it kind of goes. So that is for the medium-sized tote bag, which is the larger of the 2. There's a medium and a small. But yeah, my straps are going to be interesting because I think it's going to end up being like that. So I think you fold them and iron them in, and then, so you might not even see all of that stuff happening. But it's going to be interesting. I don't know what this is going to look like because some of them are cut, and I kind of did this on purpose just to have fun with the, I wanted to play with the pattern. So some of them are going to face this way, and then some of them are going to face this way, just to kind of mix it up. And so it's going to be interesting to see if this is ugly or cool. And I think it's going to be cool, but I also didn't want to have to worry about matching it up exactly when, like after the quarter seam allowance, I was like, oh, what if it doesn't quite go? So this way it doesn't really have to. So that's going to be interesting. And then the second bag I cut is the smaller bag, and I used that dress fabric, and so I got each flower in the pattern as a pocket. I have to iron these again. And then a side piece, a lining. I did the bottom and the straps in the blue dot again. Because remember, I was going to mix and match these 2 fabrics. I thought that would be kind of fun. It does really kind of go together. So yeah, straps, bottom, side panels, pockets, and then the lining, I did just a matching fabric lining for that. And then I cut and I already serged these, but my tie for my dress, I did the neck pieces, and then I got this all serged. So I'm ready to sew the dress together now. It's looking kind of big, but it's really hard to judge. I don't know. I haven't made this dress in a while, but I think it's supposed to be a little big. And I think it has a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'll check on that and double check to make sure I know what I'm doing. But I am ready to get out my heavy duty Singer that I showed in last week's episode that I just purchased. And I sort of did like a quick unboxing, but I'm going to really do the unboxing now for real because it comes with a lot of accessories I saw on one of their Instagram posts. So I'm gonna get this bad boy out and check out all the things that are in the box. Pedal, power cord is first. Nice little easy to read diagram. And here it is. I had a lot of fun reading your comments. It's such a beautiful machine, is it not? I think we all agree. It's so cool looking, so sharp, so me. Like, this is such a Jen machine if there ever was one. It is super heavy, like heavy duty is the name for a reason. But it's a lot heavier than my plastic brother machine that it's a little bit older that I have, which that machine I love for certain things, but it does have a hard time sewing through layers. And this heavier canvas that I'm getting from IKEA, I can tell it's not going to be able to keep up with it. So I'm going to use my Singer today to sew this dress and definitely the tote bags. So here she is. The 2 dials here, nothing digital, nothing complicated, very easy to thread. Here's all the little dials on top. Very basic, easy machine with a really nice handle that I love. It's very like easy to get around. Even though it's a little heavy, it's really easy to pick up and carry. So that's the machine itself. Okay, it does come with some accessories. There's a cover in the box, and then this little baggie with a bunch of stuff in it, which doesn't look like much, but this is $60 worth of accessories that it comes with, including a general purpose foot, a zipper foot, a buttonhole foot, a button sewing foot, an edge quilting guide, a pack of needles, bobbins, spool caps, auxiliary spool pin felt, screwdriver, seam ripper, lint brush, and a soft dust cover. So that's nice. It has 6 essential stitches, the core stitches of construction and mending, 7 stretch stitches, 18 decorative stitches, and a fully automatic 1-step buttonhole. So that's like the basics of this machine. I'm just gonna thread it up and start sewing my dress. Also, before I forget, this is day 2 of me wearing my Marimekko, and this is a shell like tank top, and it's this really nice kind of stiffer cotton that I really like, and it's still nice and cool. But the thing I love is it has a lower hem in the back, which is really comfortable and it wears really well, and I can lift my arms and it doesn't go up. And this is another one that I would totally trace and try to recreate possibly. It has a nicer, like a thicker hem on the bottom, which makes it lay really flat, and it has a slight A-line, and it just is really comfortable and nice. And then I have the dress that goes with this too, which is the same cut as the one I wore, the orange one from yesterday. And so it's exactly the same print, same fabric. Both of these are from the Uniqlo Marimekko collab that I don't wear enough, and I'm busting them out because it's fun to wear my fun things. I don't know why. I feel like I have to save them sometimes. So they sit in my closet, they don't get worn enough, and so I'm wearing them, and that's my challenge to myself this summer. Anyway, on to the dress sewing because I'm ready to knock this out and try it on. Okay, my friends, we have a finished dress with waist tie. It's very bold and colorful and exciting, and let's go try it on. Here it is. I will stand up in a second and show you the whole thing, but the cute little tie. I love these big, bold prints on clothing. I think this is so much fun. It was so much fun to sew. It came together so quickly. The Sonya Phillips patterns are very simple and easy to modify. And I did make this a little bit oversized, so it's pretty boxy, but the tie really helps kind of cinch it in and makes it fit really nicely, but it's great without the tie too. And if it is like maybe a size up from what I would normally do, so I can easily just serge it a little bit inward, a couple, maybe an inch. It's kind of big, but let's just look at it. Okay, here is my dress. It is the IKEA pre-cut upholstery weight fabrics that you can get online now and in store. This is my favorite of all of the new prints. It's like a giant floral with all of these colors, and it's so fun. I love this length, which was traced from my other Marimekko dresses, with a nice wide A-line, and it is a little boxy and oversized, and that is why I made the little belt tie, which is super cute. And I love how this upholstery weight, honestly, I was scared to make a garment with it, but now I'm not, and now I'm gonna make everything. So I have ideas for skirts and tops and more dresses and another dress like this, like in every single print, or the envelope dress, which just takes a couple yards and it's just rectangles. I wanna make all of it. I wanna make pants. I want to like wear this all the time now. And it's not scratchy. I like how it holds its shape, like after you iron it. It really is like a nice crisp edge with these bold colors, and it's not scratchy at all. It might be a little warm like on a hot day, but it's still like breezy and moves with you, and with the serged edges, it feels totally fine against my skin. I love it. I think it's really, really fun. And then if I unbelt it, you can kind of see it is a bit oversized, which if I really want to, I could take in like an inch on each side, maybe with my serger, but I might just leave it like this because I feel like I really nailed the placement of the pattern here. It's so good. So this is like a vase with these flowers coming out and these plants over here, the leaves. But how cool, I cannot handle. This print is so fun. And so I got the blue on top like I had planned, and here's the vase starting over again up here with the plants and the leaves and the blue, a little bit of the blue on the back, and then kind of this in the middle. I didn't line it up perfectly, but it really doesn't matter. And I think it looks so cool and so fun to wear. So I am very stoked about how this came out. Also, I think it's always amazing as a knitter to see how fast you can sew a whole garment in comparison to like knitting a sweater. And I could finish this in a couple of days, you know, just working on it here and there, cutting out the fabric in one evening and then kind of sewing it together the next day. It's just kind of addictive. And I'm sorry, but this summer I'm probably going to be sewing a lot because now I have this new sewing machine and this fabric, and it's just like, I'll still be knitting, and it's mostly because I am doing all that design work right now that I can't share my knitting. So I'm going to share this in the meantime, and I hope you don't mind. But also, let's talk about the affordability of this IKEA fabric. I know this is not everybody's cup of tea. It's not going to be for everybody. Somebody would, you know, some people will not like the idea of wearing an upholstery weight dress, and I get that. But for me, I love these bold colors and oversized prints and the Scandinavian whole vibe of the IKEA fabrics. It reminds me of my favorite Marimekko. I love the whole thing. So, but the thing is, unlike Marimekko, which is very expensive, this whole huge cut of fabric was $14.99 in this exact print. And I still had plenty left over to cut out pieces for a tote bag. And I still have a lot left. I could make probably 3 more tote bags out of the remainder of what I've got left of this one piece, which is nuts. And then if I wanted to do the envelope dress, that takes about 2 yards of just rectangles, and you're not wasting anything. You have a whole block of fabric left of that. So that is just like, I have a whole dress for $14.99 plus probably a matching knitting bag. Which is just so cool. And then, like I mentioned before, this was made out of one of those pillowcases, which is $4.99, and another knitting bag. And then this, I just used a little bit of, like a couple of rectangles off one end, and I still have enough to make a whole garment out of this blue spot fabric. So it's just very exciting. I like that you have shared in the comments that you have been adding this to your cart and trying the fabrics too, because it's really, really fun. I'm having so much fun with these fabrics. And speaking of that, I bought 2 more Do Not Judge, because as they become available, like some of them are unavailable on some days, but if you check back, like how obsessed I am, I keep checking back. It's really bad, but $14.99. So I got the red and pink print, this one, which is really super fun. And I think I saw someone in a Scandinavian country that was wearing something super similar to this. It wasn't exactly this, but in a skirt, and it was very cute. But I would seriously make this dress in this again. Like I would just do this 100 times. And then I got the super wide black and white stripe, which maybe is weird for clothes, but maybe not. I could see an envelope dress in this. And if it's too weird, this could definitely be housewares stuff. Like definitely a tablecloth for like this room right here where I've got black and white and yellow kind of going on. But I just can't help myself, and I'm sorry, please don't judge me. I have a good collection of the IKEA fabrics now, and I still have that really good Sandnes stripe fabric. Remember, I was trying to hunt it down, and someone so kindly sent me some because now that's unavailable for shipping. So thank you for helping me find that. So I do really recommend this book, The Act of Sewing, by my friend Sonya, who once again has the best handmade wardrobe, and I, hope and aspire to be that cool one day. But I'm getting there with this IKEA dress. But this has really good patterns, honestly, if you're gonna go down this route with the IKEA fabric. Really good pants, really good simple skirt and the top, and then you can make whatever. I mean, it tells you how to adjust everything, how to add pockets, all kinds of things. It's just really good basic info. So I love that book, and I just wanted to say that. That is all I have for this week. I'm very excited that I was able to finish a whole dress and share it with you. And I'm very excited about my new sewing machine and just all these new adventures that I'm about to embark on. I'm very excited to get started on these tote bags next, and then figure out what garments I want to make after that. And I like think about this all day long now. Fabrics and patterns, and what can I make next, and how much time do I have left in the day to stay up late or whatever I have to do and work on things. It's so much fun. So thank you for hanging out with me. I know it wasn't a lot of knitting this week, but honestly, like I was saying, I just have all these pattern writing projects in the background going on, so I can't show that right now. So in the meantime, I'm gonna share some sewing projects, if that's okay. And if you don't like it, come back in a week or 2 and I'll be knitting again, I promise. But thanks for hanging out. I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope you have a great week ahead. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I also have a playlist called Knit With Me that is a lot of videos like this, but more knitting. And so if you're bored, go check those out. And yeah, liking and subscribing honestly really does help my channel. I know that's so cliche to say and everybody says it, but it really does help. And also I love reading all your comments and interacting with you in that way. So thanks for taking the time. And that is it. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.